Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, man.
Final score, Auburn 62, Alabama State goose egg. Fellas, instant reactions. How do we feel? Brian, how do we feel?
I feel encouraged. Adjustments, more focus after the half, less pressure after the half. We went to some man instead of zone after the half, and it directly resulted in the pick six. We saw, if you ever have a slow half, what better recovery is there than a 35-point third quarter? Unreal. That's the first 35-point quarter since, what did they say? They said it on the broadcast. I don't remember, so I don't want to quote it wrong. Did you see Hunter? Did you see Hunter? Oh man, come on.
No, I didn't see. I saw Beast Mode. That's who I saw. That's my new nickname for him is Beast Mode.
Yeah. He was the only player I did a highlight on after last week. I felt that good about him.
Yeah.
He's got something special, man, and he showed some pretty good top end speed there on that breakout touchdown.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I mean, he was not going to be caught in the open field. So, for a big guy, 222 he comes in at. To be able to break out like that in the open field is something super special, I think. So you guys are rolling in here. As always, we are the War Rapport. This is our official post-game reaction show. So if you're watching this and you're wondering why you can't comment, it's because you're not an insider. Become an insider. Join the conversation. Join the community, man. We're having a good time. We're 2 weeks in, and we've had such a good time with this community talking about what's going on with our Auburn Tigers. Game 2 versus Alabama State, 62-0. Become an insider. Join the conversation. For those of you who do not know, we are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society. You should please go to the About section of our YouTube channel. You can find a link there to help support our growth. We're donating 50 cents on every dollar to the Lee County Humane Society to help save puppies and preserve shutouts. So if you want more of these shutouts, donate to our GoFundMe. We'll put that juju in the air. We'll definitely get more of them. Our merch store is live. You can find this in the About section of our YouTube channel as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We got a lot to talk about. We won 62-0. The first half didn't look so great.
It did not.
It didn't look great. So before I get into the offensive things that happened in this game, because those were kind of the obvious things that happened there, I want to talk a little bit about the defense and the things that we saw defensively.
You're muted, D.
My bad. Before they start lapsing, I want to get these super chats and the memberships going. Team struggled first half. Glad they made adjustments and shut them out. Yes.
Glad
they made adjustments. Oh man,
definitely.
How long has it been since we've seen adjustments to that extent?
Facts.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Shout out to our guy Centauri Calhoun joining the family. We appreciate you, my brother. And Mason Clennon, War Eagle fellas. Yes, I did get my shutout. I did get my shutout. So I'll be. I can be right now. I can be 4 for 5. I think on the shutouts that I called. I called 5 of them. But to be fair, I did call one against Akron. So even if we get 5 total shutouts, we'd have to shut somebody out that I did not expect. But yes,
that'd be tough.
I mean, listen. I don't care who the opponent is. Shutting a team completely out is an accomplishment.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's tough,
right? Especially when you have to pull your starters off the field at some point, and they're going to leave their guys in to get some burn, and they're trying to score.
Right.
It is a tough thing for a football player to score in a college game. It's something to be celebrated. That's where I never really get down on guys for celebrating as long as they're not showboating on the opponent. But this was an accomplishment, being able to pitch a shutout. Now they needed to get in there and block a kick to do it.
Yeah.
But just again, even being able to block a field goal is something
that was my 3 points right there. That was my 3 points. Yeah, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
We're cool with losing that one, right? So, it was something special to watch. Now, defensively, I want to talk about some remarkable stats here. Now, I know who we played. So before anybody tells me, oh, look who you guys played. 2 weeks into the season, we have allowed a total of 43 rushing yards.
Yeah.
2 weeks into the season, we have allowed 43 total rushing yards. In case you don't know, Akron went for -3 yards last week. Alabama State got 46. Now, although overall the yardage looked a little better, I think, for Akron because of passing yards. Right. Alabama State couldn't do much in this game. They were 4 for 15 on third downs. They did have 9 penalties for 61 yards, but so did we.
Right. Well, once we went to to man from zone, that was the end of them trying to pass it. They did complete some passes.
They was finding some open holes. They was finding some soft spots in our zones for sure.
Yeah.
So those adjustments aren't just on the offensive side. The defense adjusted as well, and it worked out well for us.
It did. I mean, I thought they played well even before some of the adjustments, but like you said, even finding the things that you can clamp down on and tighten down on, still fantastic coaching. Derek Mason worth every penny.
I was impressed with how they tackled an open field. Man, McClain, another day, another game, a game with McClain getting 10+ tackles. Like, he's just a machine. He was he was crashing down. Like, he was all over the place, man. So
definitely,
our guys did a great job this game in terms of making sure tackles. We didn't see a lot of missed tackles at all, Harley. So I was pleased with that going into Penn State.
Yeah, listen, shout out to Jazzy Joe with the super chat. They kept Hunter in while he was hot. They aren't playing favorites here. I agree.
Finally.
Now, it sucks when you have to lose your job to a COVID test. But I've been trying to say for the last few weeks, I didn't think that Shivers would finish as the number 2 back on this team. I don't think you can seriously watch Jarquez Hunters play the last couple weeks and argue that Shivers is the number 2 back on this team.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that Shivers played poorly.
Right.
I thought he played great. I just think that's how talented this guy is. If you're not giving him touches, you're doing your football team a disservice. Because when you spell tank to be able to put in another home run threat, puts a pressure on defenses that a lot of teams will never have.
Yeah.
The number 2 comeback comes in, and you might have to worry about him more. Kind of like when we had the Ronnie Brown Cadillac deal going on there. So, that is what it is. Shout out to Eric Coleman for the super chat. TJ has a great arm, great touch on that throw to Malcolm Johnson. I thought it was a tad bit behind, but they made that pitch and catch like they've been, again, doing that in practices, which is what we heard. The groupings, it was TJ and Malcolm running together in that last scrimmage. So those guys have a rapport together. Malcolm Johnson showed a lot about what we've been talking about all offseason, his ability to be able to get behind the defense. He could have led Malcolm just a little bit more. I thought TJ threw the DB into the play just a little bit, but Malcolm did a good job reaching back, adjusting just enough, and then strength and conditioning, man, dragging his guy into the end zone.
Yeah.
Dragging his guy into the end zone to finish it off, right? So that was spectacular to watch. Now, TJ only threw 2 passes?
Yeah, he didn't throw a lot.
It wasn't a lot. He
went 2 for 2, I think.
The game was out then the next drive in, Hunter had that big run, and then they put the offense on ice. So
2 for 2 for 66 yards. Listen, just like last week, I don't think we can glean much from his play on 2 for 2 for 66 yards in garbage time.
Yeah.
No, we can't.
It was nice to see him go out there and with the 2 throws that he got, make an impact. Those 2 throws made an impact on the outcome of this game. And then to be able to get the ball to receivers who are also trying to prove themselves. Malcolm Johnson is fighting for a spot, man. He's trying to show that he can be the guy. And TJ went out there and gave him a chance to do that. That's huge for a lot of these backup receivers, I think.
Yeah.
So I want to get to comments here. Caesar, you see any comments we need to?
James Barnett got one. I pull it up here. Owen, no, not that one. It was another one that I saw from James. The comments are flying in here. Well, while I look for that, I do want to make mention of Demetrius. He had Robertson. He had a great game. I was happy for him.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned he had as many touchdowns in this game than he did all at Georgia. So I was happy to see them use him. And one of the things we talked about with Mike Bobo is getting the ball in the hands of your playmakers. We saw what Robertson can do when he gets in open field. Of course, that was a beautifully thrown touchdown pass to him in the end zone by Bo. And then, of course, the long shot to begin the third quarter. I just like that they're getting the ball into the hands of our playmakers and coming up with creative ways to do it. And he benefited from it. Clearly a great day for him. I was happy to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's shout out to this because Ed made a good point. Bama State did a great job of game planning. They were ready to handle what we showed we did well in game one. There were not receivers running wide open in the first half of this game. So they saw what we did. They adjusted. We had to make either a very good throw or the receivers had to make a very, very tough catch. And that's what you want to do. And I'm glad we got defended that way. Because one thing that might be a concern for us, like you hear this all the time, people were giving Georgia a lot of preseason hype, right? But then they're missing their number one wide receiver. George Pickens isn't there. And you think Georgia's got tons of talent. They're getting talent all over the field. They are, but there's a difference between a guy that's fast or a guy that's powerful and a guy who can, if you have him covered, still get wide open.
Right.
We do not have a guy that if he is covered, he can still get wide open whenever he wants to. Because of that, we have to rely on our coaches to get our guys open. We have to scheme open. We have to run the ball so well that you have to commit more to the run. And that way it gets a lot easier for us to get somebody open. Because of that, Alabama State was able to defend our wide receivers for a whole half.
Right.
And they did a really good job. If we don't block a kick and turn them over, we have less than 20 points going into a half.
Right.
Yeah.
They did. We need to give them their credit. And we also need to give our coaches their credit for changing the plan, adjusting. And of course, we know Ike is going to be in the post-game presser, getting a chance to ask Carson a question. And we know that he's going to ask, or somebody in there is going to ask, what did you say at halftime? I wish I could hear what he said at halftime. Right. Because not only do we seem to be more prepared, but we seem more focused. And that's a difference that I didn't see from us for years. Either we had it or we didn't, and we just didn't have it for the entire game. Yeah. There was no switch to be flipped. There was no progress to be made in game from beginning to end. We may have gotten a little bit better, but a lot of times we didn't. And I'm so glad to see that switch be flipped, for the coach to have his hand on the team, on the pulse of the team, to the point where he can say, nope, here's how we're going to do better. We're going to do better. And it worked.
Yeah, right. Indeed. I got a quote here, or a statement here. Owen Papo got into the backfield a couple of times, but missed the sack. We have to make that play with better teams. You know, I agree. And sometimes there are sacks that are just missed, especially if you have a mobile QB. We've seen Bo make some defenders look silly, but I agree to your point. In a tighter game, that can make the difference between the drive ending there or extending the drive and the team going down the field and scoring on us. And on the road, it becomes very important in terms of putting the offense behind the chains and then putting pressure on them so our defensive line can pin its ears back and bring more pressure. So I agree. It goes back into the whole concept of making sure tackles. And when you have I don't know, you guys watch Penn State. How mobile is their quarterback? Do we know?
I haven't watched. I watched some of that Wisconsin game, but I didn't see much scrambling from him.
Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
I mean, he can make a play here and there with his legs, but you know, I wouldn't consider him a threat to run all over you.
Yeah. So I think you may see less of that should we find ourselves in the backfield with the quarterback with Penn State. So I think we should be good. But yes, that is something to keep an eye on as we do face more mobile quarterbacks later on. So
yeah, I got one here from Big Blue. Y'all, Bo had 200 plus yards and 2 TDs if not for the drops. I don't think it was terrible performance, although he did have a couple of bad possessions once he got frustrated at the end of the second quarter. Yeah, listen, it was an average game for Bo.
Yeah.
I'm not super up or super down about his performance. I'm real flat because while he did make some bad passes, he did have some clean drops by receivers.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to get into the flow of the rhythm of the game, those are things that you have to be. What I'm worried about with Bo is up here.
Yeah.
You have to be able to let those things go and go out and make the next play. Penn State is going to come after him. Having a run game that can do what we just did might help neutralize a lot of things against Penn State. The pass that Jarquez caught out of the backfield on the wheel route, things like that. I thought that was a great throw by Bo. It was a perfect throw by Bo.
Yeah,
right over his shoulder. So, like, I do think this. I don't want to get too down on his. I don't want to get too down on his performance. I just don't think I'm sounding any alarm bells about Bo.
Yeah, agreed.
Shout out Solomon. That's who won our free Alabama State ticket giveaway.
Hey.
So thank you, Solomon, for going to the game, enjoying it. Glad you and the missus got to be out there and have fun. We are also giving away tickets to the Georgia State game. And what's our date on that? When are we going to do that draw?
Is it next week?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. We're giving away tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll draw everybody who has entered. I think we notify privately first to make sure they can get it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, thanks, Solomon.
Yes. So interesting kind of game all around. Like I said, 62-0, but there's a lot to talk about in terms of improvements here. It was not a clean game for a whole half.
Yeah.
Right. So there's plenty on tape for them. Caesar, what stood out to you in terms of first half? First half, what was the most dysfunctional thing you saw?
Yeah, I just think I could just sum it up with a lack of focus when it comes to the penalties. What stood out was the 4th and 1 at the goal line when we're about to go in, and they run out late, and instead of getting to the ball, snapping it, Bo is focused on the crowd and not the play clock. And while he's trying to quiet them down, we get a delay of game, which results in us having to kick a field goal, leaving 4 points on the field.
Right.
You have the mental error by Kalen Newton. Bo hits him a little behind him, but it's in his hands. It's a clean drop. Those types of things. When you're having to waste a timeout, when the tight end doesn't know where he's lined up, and it's just those types of miscues are things that have to be cleaned up because you don't have the benefit of having silence when you're on the road against Penn State and Happy Valley. Yeah. Those things have to be cleaned up. You have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand the situation, and you can't make those types of mental errors because that's an unforgiving environment. Should you make some mistakes and it cost you, it's just gonna be, a bad situation for us. So I think the mental focus, and you can tell as B said, the flip got switched in the second half. You didn't see a lot of those mental errors. It was a sense of urgency with our entire football team, mixed in with the adjustments. They played with purpose in the second half, and it showed.
Yeah, B, what stood out to you in that first half in terms of negativity?
Well, it's something we talked about before, but rhythm. So I've said it since like 2019. Bo Nix is a street shooter. And we hope he's not a street shooter because street shooters can sometimes just be off and that's their whole game. But what it means for him is that if he starts completing passes, he will be in a rhythm with the game, with the wide receivers. He will make better decisions. He will be more decisive and those decisions will be better. So that drop by Shed to start, that almost pick that he threw, and the drop by Kalen Newton, that was the worst possible start because now the rhythm is gone, and now it feels like he was thinking too much and trying to force too much. But again, you come out after halftime, and they seem to have remedied that. It's a little concerning that if, let's say, a defense comes out and they defend us well, like Alabama State did, but it's a better defense, Penn State's defense is better than Alabama State's defense. Penn State's crowd is going to be maybe the most hostile crowd Bo has played in since at Florida 2019.
Yeah, that's going to be more hostile than that.
Yeah.
And there, so now, yes, you might miss something. Somebody might mess something up. A receiver might drop something. Are we going to not be able to recover from a slow start until halftime?
Right.
Is that what's going to be how we run? We need to be able to go, okay, that drive didn't work. Throw it away. Let's focus for the next drive.
Right.
That last play, that last drive doesn't have any bearing on what we can do right here with this next play, because we might not have an entire half to just throw away to get ready to be able to come back at halftime. Like, no, we need you to get it together the next drive, buddy. We're on the road. We're not going to get a kick return for a touchdown every game. So I hope that's not a sign that's not a permanent thing for Bo. I hope there is okay, didn't work, didn't go right. Coach, what did you see? I was trying to get him here. I know, okay, I got it. Next time out, we'll get it. And then we can start creating momentum on our own instead of having to wait for a big break from the defense or a hard break at halftime in order to hit the reset button. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Shout out to Jazzy Joe with the super chat.
Appreciate that, man.
This is for all the live shows I missed. I drive trucks, so can't catch them all, but I watch every show. We appreciate you too for dropping in. We appreciate the super chats, guys.
Man, I appreciate that, Jazzy.
Yeah, listen. For me, kudos to both what you guys said about in terms of what you saw, particularly be about the rhythm of the offense. Right, like if you're Bo, you just want to remove yourself as a negative factor in this offense, not moving forward. Again, I don't think you can put it on any one thing in the first half, but I was glad to see that after the half, they seemed to figure some stuff out, man, and just be able to get in there and do some things great. So I saw some other receivers get in the mix. Canyon had a big catch there from TJ. Malcolm Johnson obviously caught the bomb from TJ. I was happy to see some other wide receivers get in the mix
for sure.
But Shedrick didn't have much of an impact on this game.
Yeah.
No.
Right. I did not particularly like the rollout throw, even though it resulted in a pass interference. The kind of fadeaway jumper thing that Bo does when he's rolling out to his right. Guys, I hate that throw. I hate that throw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that worked out. That's not something I want to see on the road versus Penn State. And Jazzy Joe, and the double dribble was definitely there. Yes, Virginia double dribble. Agreed. 100% agreed.
It's important that everyone knows that.
Everybody has to know that every live cast. Yeah. Auburn Dad for life. The adjusted was near 70%. Yes, I agree. 100% agree. That's why I don't think we should be sounding any alarm bells. If you add back in the drops, he had a pretty good game. But I am still concerned about the pass that he threw that could have been a pick or a pick six against a better team.
Yeah.
Right. That totally changes the momentum of the game. So if we're on the road at Penn State, you can't make that throw.
Yeah. It was the same thing that kind of with the game against Akron. You're going to have in a game where you have tighter windows to throw through, you have to be accurate. And you can't stare down your receivers, because if it's on film that you have that tendency, they're going to follow your eyes. And he stared down Shed on that second throw, which is why the ASU defender jumped in front of it. So that's one of those things that I'm hoping that Bobo and Harsin kind of goes over with him in the film room and get him to understand what he needs to be doing in terms of making sure he has his feet set, he's throwing an accurate ball, and he's not telegraphing his passes to a defense that has the athletes to take advantage of those throws.
Exactly. Shout out to Philip Cameron. Oh, sorry, Philip Cameron. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome. Cleveland Brown. It appears one of you may have to eat crow regarding Hunter reaching 350 by September.
Yeah, that was we had a facsimile. We said, will he get there to 350 in September? All of us said, yeah, except for Ike, but he is already glad to eat that crow.
I said it as well. I said it as well. And my reasoning for it which I had to renege even before the game when we found out that that Shivers was out, because I was expecting Shivers to get more carries and opportunities in the run game. Well, he can't get those opportunities if he's in protocol. So yes, it appears as though Hunter is well on his way.
Yeah. Again, and shout out to Cleveland Brown for becoming a member.
Hey, welcome aboard, my boy.
Welcome to the community. Yeah, Hunter is, this, I imagine what he did in the second half is how I imagined that he would get to 100 yards again this game. I just did not see him getting the carries that he got in the first half.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he still would have broke 100 in this game. Plus the 14 yards receiving that he had. I mean, he still had a solid first half. He still had 40 to 50 yards of offense in the first half. So, he was a factor. They made him a factor, I thought, with his play last week. This is why, even despite going in, when he went in, when you taking advantage of those opportunities, guys, this catch that Malcolm Johnson made is going to matter to the coaches.
Right.
Showing that you can go out there and execute in the time that you get on the field is going to matter when there's an injury or some guy is not playing well. Now Malcolm has proven he's next guy up.
Yeah.
Right. Put me in, coach. Last time you did, we scored a touchdown.
Right.
So, it is it's going to be interesting to see how we end up doing this.
And again, is the to your point, it's the few opportunities you do get, you got to take advantage of them. Right, in order to own those coaches' trust. Like, could you imagine how tough it would be if he dropped that pass, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely.
See what I'm saying? So when if you are behind some guys and the ball is thrown, your number is called, you got to show up. I hate to keep downing this guy because I think he's a great pass blocker, but Kalen, you got to catch that if you want more opportunities, dude.
Yeah, man,
you got to catch that.
Right. It's, you definitely have to catch that. My heart broke for him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, when he dropped that pass.
There's so many other things that he does so well. So when he gets an opportunity, man, you gotta show up.
Stuart Donald, 1719. I see what you're doing there. 11 a.m. games are the devil. Right? Bobby Boucher's mother. Yes, it seems like we've had a history of this. If you're
been a bugaboo, man.
11 a.m. kicks have never been kind to us. For some reason, historically, we've had a hard time getting up for 11 a.m. games. Fortunately, they shook that off at halftime. I don't know what it is. Hopefully, we won't see. I mean, we possibly have one more 11 a.m. kick against Georgia State. So after that, once we get into SEC play, I doubt you'll see us in that time slot again the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But they got through it without a disaster, which is all I care about. If you had to play one game at 11 a.m., this one or Akron. Take your pick. Those are the ones you want to play at that time.
Maybe Georgia State. We'll see.
Tony Baker, thanks, guys, so much for the content. Happy to miss the points by 7 as long as it's to the good side. Yes, shutout.
Yep.
Listen, guys, I went into Ace Hardware again and asked for a full game shutout. They said, go check aisle 6. It was there. It was there, and I bought it.
The truck came in this week.
Yeah, it wasn't even on sale. I paid extra. So I was really, really happy for those guys. I mean, that's a really good defensive accomplishment. That's something to be proud of.
I like this, Ed. He's calling it now with all the jumbo package. Yes, because we haven't seen what all we can do out of some of these sets, which is really exciting with what we're seeing. The different packages, we're not seeing everything. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously by design. I would love to see what we do in the red zone with these jumbo packages for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how they are able to mix things up in the red zone. I feel more confident with us in the red zone this year. Yeah, it feels like the playbook is open, and it's not going to be some jet sweep or, just a halfback dive up the middle or some QB keeper that everybody reads.
Even though, I mean, we've had 2 miscues down there on the goal line, and that's just getting lined up, getting the play call correct.
Yeah.
So that's been something to look at, and that's not going to get easier once we're on the road. Those 2 mishaps happened at home, so I'm sure they'll put them through some practice, some noise in practice, and get them practicing goal line, lining up with different packages than the personnel that we ran down the field with, so they can get that lineup in those plays executed quicker.
Yeah, I mean, listen, highly correctable stuff, right?
Right.
All that is very correctable. I didn't see anything that can't be coached out of them. And I think that that's where you want to be, as where you want to be as a team. So
Agreed.
they did that. They did that well. I was proud of this team. Listen, guys, I promised some free T-shirts if we shut them out. So I'm giving them away. Hashtag shutout in the comments. Hashtag shutout right now. We're going to draw for some free T-shirts. I'm going to give people time to get in. We've got just under 250 people in here. So as you guys put in hashtag shutout, we will tally them. I'm going to draw 3 times. We're going to draw 3 times.
Now I know you thinking with all these super chats and love y'all giving, we ain't gonna give back something for the shutout. Come on now,
right now, and shout out to Barning Knight on Twitter. Barning Knight guessed the score correctly. He guessed 62-0. B did it. We have nobody guessed it. Nobody else guessed 62-0.
That was in one person.
Just that one person.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Barning Knight, if you're listening, business at the War Rapport, send me that. So we're going to be giving this away. I love it. I love you guys. This community is amazing. So yeah, there's a lot to look at. I think that we saw improvement defensively. I think we saw improvement from
for sure
week 2.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you guys think about the approach that we're going to take moving forward with and seeing Pat?
Hey,
appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. What do you think? What do you think we expect to see with how this team utilizes the zone? Because obviously we've been playing man for so many years. That's kind of like what we're naturally good at. And in terms of learning to play the zone, there's going to be some miscues. There's going to be teams taking advantage of it. But how do you think we move forward as we go on the road against a Penn State, on the road against an LSU with the zone coverage? Or do we just stick to what we're good at? What are your thoughts?
I think that the mark of a Derek Mason defense historically has just been flexibility, right?
Yeah.
Being able to switch in and out of whatever is best fits how your opponent is attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to flip a switch and say, guys, they're killing us, we're going zone. It's great. And then it results in a pick 6. Come on, man. We have athletes at corner. We have straight up athletes at corner. Any one of those guys gets the ball, they can take it to the house. So, giving them a chance to be able to read and jump routes and do things you are easier to do in zone it's going to be kind of fun to watch. I don't know how you game plan for this defense right now. Based on the tape, I don't know how you game plan for what we've seen these first 2 weeks. We look solid on D-line. We're getting after the quarterback. We had a couple sacks today, right?
Yeah.
I think Wooden got back there.
Cooliotta got one.
Yeah, I mean, we had some pressure on the quarterback, and
I think Moultrie got one too.
Yeah, I mean, I kept stressing it. I thought D-line was always going to be the question with this defense, right? I thought D-line was going to be the question. They're removing themselves as a question mark. Mm-hmm. Which is, again, I said preseason, I just felt like this could be an all-time great Auburn defense. Now, we haven't played nobody yet, and I'm well aware of that. But this is a good start. You got to start somewhere. Again, good teams shut down bad teams.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think you cannot look at the defense and say definitively that it's not a great defense yet. You got to say, hey, listen, this is a good stepping stone and a building block, right? I don't ever think you really get comfortable on defense. You never get complacent on defense. Offensively, maybe sometimes you get a little complacent, but defense, man, is just about attack. So it's going to be really, really fun to watch. Going every time we're on defense, my ears perk up. I love watching this team play defense. They're fun to watch.
For sure. I was happy for McCreary, man. I was happy for McCreary. Someone mentioned earlier in the comments that McCreary ran the route better than the receiver on that screen where he got the pick 6. Like, he was all over it. And McCreary is a very physical receiver, which is why he excelled so well in man coverage. Mm-hmm. So for him to fight through those blocks on that screen to get in position and reach and stretch out, he stretched out to make that play and then run it back. I was definitely happy for him. Happy for our defense too, man. I was expecting some turnovers last week against Akron, and we were able to force some this game, so I was pleased with that.
Yeah. It was. Did we see Lee Hunter today?
I
don't know.
I don't recall. I don't want to say he wasn't out there.
He may have been out there late in the game, but I didn't see him early on. For sure.
I didn't see TD as much as I'd hoped to see him. TD Mosley out there flashing.
Gene Williamson asking about Lee Hunter. Join our Monday film review. We'll find him for you. We'll find him for you in the Monday film review and see what was going on there.
Yeah, that's a good point because I did see Burks, Marquise Burks. Lawrence is mentioning Burks. Walker was out there, but I'm not sure about Lee.
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of looking through these comments here.
Tennessee fail. I noticed everybody talking about Tennessee having lost to Pitt. Ooh. If you happened to check out the betting for B Will for insiders, I told you Pitt will cover by 3. Now, I also told you to go for the under, which was wrong. But Pitt did cover, so that we had that intel. So hopefully y'all check that out.
Yeah, definitely. I think I took a hit on my record. I think I picked Tennessee in that one.
Yeah, you did. I picked them, but then after B-Star laying down all the gospel, I was like, I don't know about that one.
Y'all know who is really busy and doesn't get the chance to watch betting for B Will? Mike. Mike doesn't watch betting for B Will as much as the rest of us. I'd be giving him the facts. He'd be like, yeah. Mike works on like 3 or 4 War Rapport things at the same time. He's talking to a sponsor and editing a video and getting in touch with somebody for a building rapport. He does a lot. He does not listen as hard as he works.
Yeah,
and the end results of the tallies will show that.
I don't know. I might have caught up somewhere. We'll have fun with that one on Wednesday when we're showing what everybody's record is. Big Blue says Penn State is already up 14 on Ball State. Listen, guys, it's going to be a dogfight in a week.
Yeah,
it's going to be a dogfight in a week. We need our defense to show up, and we need our offense to learn from this week's struggles and take a better offense into next week. I think we know we can run the ball, but expect Penn State to load the box and try to stop us.
Yeah.
That's what the tape says to do. Load the box, dare these guys to beat you through the air. It's going to be tough sledding in Penn State for these guys, for Tank and Jarquez and Shivers. Well, we may not see Shivers due to the protocol, but it's going to be tough sledding for them if we cannot at least move the ball through the air somewhat effectively. Yeah. So those big throws down the field, we got to make them. Yeah. We have to make them. I thought Finley came in and in 2 passes made a statement.
Yeah.
I can make big throws when called upon.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, we need Bo to go out there and, since he's going to start the game, keep Finley on the bench.
Hey, and you saw what that throw did because the next drive, what happened? Hunter came back, and now you have to now you got to back up because now we got someone who can take the top off the defense.
Yeah.
So it's important, and I'm happy too. I was a little nervous when Council went out, but he came back in and was okay. So I was happy that we didn't have any serious injuries going into Penn State. Pretty sure there may be some guys dinged up, but that's football. That typically happens. But I'm glad that we remain relatively healthy through these 2 games.
Yeah, I just think staying healthy is so important, especially so early in the season because we have not even hit SEC play yet.
Yeah.
This is the first year in a long time where we will not face an SEC opponent in the month of September.
Yeah.
Not one SEC opponent in the month of September. So going into LSU, which is going to be imperative that we get that win. That game is looking more and more like a must win. Down in Death Valley, the way they're playing, you can't lose to them. Yeah. You just can't lose to them. We have the superior football team defensively by a long shot.
Sure,
right,
for sure.
And the only way we lose is if we play down to our level of talent offensively. Mm-hmm. That's what I see. Right. Yeah. So if we only put up, 10 points and lose 14.
You saw that. I think UCLA got over 200 yards rushing on them.
Yep. Yeah. Jarquez and all those guys should eat.
That plays. Their weakness plays into our strength. So I'm feeling much more confident about the LSU game, and I agree, Mike. That is a must win.
Community. I'm asking the community this as well as you guys. Is it possible we've got 2,000-yard rushers on our hands this season?
They are well on their way. I think they're both Tank's
Yeah, they're on
somewhere
target.
around 230, 230-ish, and Hunter is
Hunter the leading rusher?
He's the leading rusher on the team.
He's the leading rusher now.
109,
so we got two guys who are a quarter of the way there.
Yeah.
147 this week. Right? So he's like 256 or something like that. I don't know if that's good math, but he's over 250.
Yeah.
So in 2 games, he just
if they stay, that may be a fax or no.
That may be a fax or no.
That sounds like a fax or no.
Are we gonna have 2 1,000-yard rushes on our hands? Sounds like a possibility. And when was the last time that we had 2,000-yard rushes?
2 of them?
Yeah.
Ooh. Have we had 2,000?
I don't know if we did. I don't know if we. I know when Caddy and Ronnie was there.
Get on it. Community, get on it. Let me know when was the last time we had 2,000-yard rushes.
Because I know Ronnie Brown didn't go over 1,000 in that 2004 year.
Yeah,
he caught a lot of passes though, but he didn't get over 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
I do want to highlight this. Thanks, Gabriel, for this. Sean Jackson, I was impressed with him.
Yeah,
he was doing what he was doing behind the second team O-line.
Yeah.
So what he was able to do on that drive was very impressive. You give this guy some time to build up his speed. He's a load to bring down. So he definitely showed that he's capable and dependable. And this is a walk-on kid, y'all. So for him to get the burn he's getting, I'm happy for him. Question: when was the last time you saw? And I tweeted this. When was the last time you saw the third team QB get into the game and actually get some playing time?
Right. And almost ruined my day.
That's not the point, Mike.
No, but it is right now. Almost completely ruined it. He almost turned the ball over on our side of the field. And if it had cost us the shutout, guys.
Oh boy.
Something was going to get broken.
So is this pretty much them saying Dede
is redshirting
this year?
For sure.
He's redshirting all the way. Which is disappointing because he could play 4 games in redshirt. So he could have played just our cupcake games this month and redshirted. But they're not even when there was a clear opportunity in mop-up time to put him in, we saw Grant Lloyd almost fumble away a perfect second half.
Yeah. Unreal. Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody say anything about Grant Lloyd ever again. Yeah. He's on the team. Great. We appreciate you for being an Auburn Tiger. Hold the clipboard. I was going to blow my gasket if we turned the ball over at the end of the game and it cost us a shutout. Wow. Holy hell.
Yeah, Corey, I think him not making the second team cost him his Heisman campaign. I'm going to go with that.
Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah, and Blake Robin says, it was definitely Lloyd's fault.
Yeah.
It was and we'll cover it in film review. I'll highlight that one. We'll replay it 10 times just so everybody understands that almost cost us a shutout.
Grant, something bad is about to happen, Lloyd.
Wow. Tony Baker. Tony Baker here is got some stats. 17 for 257 for Jarquez. He averaged 18 yards a carry or something like that in this game because of that big run.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mason Bartleson.
I want to do our historians. What did they say? Did they say what the record was previously that Hunter broke? Because 94 was the record. What was the record previously?
No, I didn't see them say what it was.
Some of our historians were probably would know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was just, what a run, man. Right up the gut. Yeah. One cut and then just leave everybody in your dust at 222.
Yeah.
Yikes, man. He can break tackles. He's got open field speed. This guy has a chance to do something really, really special here. So when I saw in the stats about his workouts, the things that he was doing in the weight room,
92 yards. I'm saying
92.
Yeah, my son's 92, and it was 1936. So that was a long-standing record.
Wow. Man, I think he's going to leave.
Now, Ed Darby mentioned last time we had two guys rush for over 1,000 was Nick Marshall and Mason in 2013. I didn't think about that. I was thinking running backs, which is more impressive because in that offense, I mean, Marshall touched the ball every time, right? He just decided whether or not he wanted to pull it or give it to Mason. So if we were to achieve this would be even more impressive because I haven't seen us put together anything that has both running backs on the field, right?
Yeah, I mean, that means that we're probably averaging easily 300 yards a game on the ground.
Yeah.
Right. Auburn's averaging 300 rushing yards a game on the ground. We have two guys go over 1,000 yards.
We're doing that now.
That'll keep us in a lot of games moving forward. So again, before anybody beats us over the head with it's just Alabama State, shutting a team out is impressive. It is an impressive feat. And in spite of some of the things that the offense kind of did there in the first half. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, their backs were up against the wall a couple times and they just did what they had to do first and foremost of keeping ASU out of the end zone. And then on the fourth down, blocking the kick, scoop and score. Come on, man. That's special stuff. Special stuff. So looking through the comments here, it looks like Alabama. A lot of you are saying Alabama is struggling with their offense against Mercer. Now they're not going to lose that game. But no. Week 2 offensive struggles.
Yeah, it's 0-0.
Like we just saw.
It's 0-0 right now.
Yeah, they'll get it together and win that game. But
I'm also seeing
looking so invincible.
What happened? I'm not checking. What happened with South Carolina?
King. They won by a field goal at the buzzer. So for all of you who watch Betting for B Will, I picked South Carolina covering by the 2.5. They did us the favor. They went ahead and covered. So you are welcome. Now, what looks like it's in danger is Texas A&M is down 7-0 to Colorado. Their starting quarterback just went out injured. So on the road is never a good time to be breaking in a new quarterback, especially if the redshirt freshman was the best one that you had. So that's dicey. I don't know what that means for that game now. They are still way more talented than Colorado, so I don't expect Colorado to win, but that's tough.
Y'all got so many jokes on Hunter. Can y'all give away some better shoes than Hunter? I don't know. We may have to see about gifting. I don't know how that works. We may have to do an NIL or some type of.
Yeah, it's a second game straight. He's lost a shoe, right?
Yeah.
I need the equipment guys to get it together. When he lost that show, I was like, "This is 2 weeks straight." There's definitely
time to tape him up.
Oh man! So I mean, this was a kind of an uneventful week of football in terms of matchups. I know Iowa and Iowa State played in kind of like a 10 versus 9 matchup.
The game I want to see, which isn't a big one, is from a national standpoint, but I think our biggest conference game is Missouri and Kentucky is what I want to see. And I kind of want to see who's going to be. To me, this is the battle for at least the third best team in the East. Those two teams. So I want to see if Missouri actually is decent. Can Kentucky throw the ball against an SEC opponent? They can do it against an inferior opponent, but can they throw the football against an SEC opponent?
Wait, who's your second best team in the SEC East?
I said potentially.
I know you said potentially for the third slot between Kentucky and Missouri.
Well, so potentially, we can say potentially second or third. It's a toss-up between whoever wins this will then play Florida to determine who's the second best. It's almost kind of like a semi-final to see who will be number 2.
So let me ask you guys this: 2 straight weeks with 60 or more points. Obviously, a great start.
Sure.
Now we jumped up into the AP top 25. Is there more buy-in from the pundits after this week? What kind of ranking are we looking at? What's your best projection for where they're going to put us?
I can see us moving up a little bit just to make that Penn State game more enticing. They tend to do stuff like that just to set up a matchup like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know who ahead of us is in a game that they could potentially lose.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Virginia Tech is.
You got. I'll keep an eye out for Utah. They're on the road against BYU.
Mm-hmm. Murray State is up on Cincinnati 7-0 right now in the second quarter.
Interesting. What else we got going?
And then there's going to be some Texas and Arkansas play today too.
That's the one. That's the one for me.
Yeah, Texas and Arkansas play today too.
Yeah.
I think Wisconsin plays EMU. I don't think they're in any danger there. Ole Miss plays App State.
Miami should bounce back.
UNC plays Georgia State. Maybe we should keep an eye on that one, right? UNC Georgia State.
Georgia look like they in control of UAB. So
yeah. Stetson Bennett started that game.
Yeah,
and he's looked good so far, apparently, for what they're saying.
Yeah. So there's some opportunities for movement in front of us. Oregon took down Ohio State 35-28. So
apparently they're soft up front. They could not handle the run. They couldn't stop the run, which is you want to keep a high octane offense from running it up on you. You run the ball.
Yeah. So again, here a lot of you think that we'll be at least around 20, maybe just inside the top 20.
So it'll be a top 20 matchup.
I think number 20 is a good spot for us.
Yeah. I would say Ken Willis says I don't think a number 25 is jumping into the top 25. Well, I mean, from where we were at, like around, depending on who you ask, we were like at 26 and or 30 and some of the rankings. So we slipped in, right? We slipped in.
We took advantage of some of those week one matchups that they had.
Yeah. So sure. I mean, it was just I think now the optimism starts to build because you've seen us do it twice in a row.
Yeah.
And we have a defense that is allowing 5 points a game on average through 2 games.
Right.
So, if they can have a good showing at Penn State, they can. I mean, this legitimately, we might have to start talking about if they can hold Penn State to 14 or fewer points, we might start talking about this is a top 10 defense in the country.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Rush yardage looking phenomenal. And that's going to help us out a lot too for the averages. So yeah.
I mean, and when I'm looking at some of these other schools like that's left on our schedule, I mean, outside of Alabama, but LSU doesn't look formidable offensively. We saw Georgia struggle against a good defense, so it's looking very likely like we could be a top defense.
I'm worried about the Georgia game still though because they got absolutely nothing from their offense in one. Against a team who had, at least out of habit, I mean, DJ, I don't want to mess up his name, which I know I'm talking about, the quarterback from Clemson. They have wide receivers. They have the quarterback. Now, they might not have the running back. ETN was a really big deal. They don't have the chemistry. Justin Ross had just gotten back. But if you're coming into this year and I tell you Mike Bobo, Brian Harsin, Bo Nix, or you taking Tony Elliott and DJ and Justin Ross with what they've done there at Clemson, if they can do that to Clemson, a place where they play great offense for the last 6 years straight, and here we are trying to have a bit of a rebirth, I'm worried. I am worried about going in there, and luckily we do get the test against Penn State. That's the best thing. We get to test ourselves against a better defense than we've seen the first 2 weeks, but one that's not quite as good and as ravenous as Georgia's defense, and we get to get stress tested in a way that it will actually allow us to improve. Like we had Alabama State really, and somebody said in the comments, I think it may have been Ed Darby, it's not like they shut us down. We had wide open passes that we missed that were dropped. So we didn't get just bullied and our entire game plan was ripped to shreds. That's not what happened. We didn't execute. We came back, we focused, and then we held it down like we were supposed to. Somebody, whether it's Penn State or Georgia, is going to see what we're doing and shut it down, and they're going to nullify our game plan because they have the athletes and the discipline to do that. I want to see it against Penn State because I don't think you can come away from that Georgia-Clemson game and not go, whoa, how are we going to move the ball on these guys? And hey, we're going to find out really soon, which is why Can they set up the schedule like this every year? All of our out of conference stuff right up front. Let's get this out the way. Because technically this doesn't count. If we come out of the conference with one loss and a conference championship, it doesn't matter what happened in September. This was the perfect way to start this season. I hope they do this more often.
Yeah, I agree. Corey Weber makes a point here. I love Tank, but he needs to work on becoming more patient and letting his holes open. There's something to this. Thank you, Corey, for this comment. I thought that when I was watching this, like, he seems very anxious to hit the hole, hit it hard, and then immediately try to break a tackle rather than letting his blocks set up a little bit more. We're above average at run blocking. So I think he can afford to be more patient. I'm sure that they're coaching that. That's coaching that he's receiving. And from Cadillac, because he was pretty good. Cadillac was pretty good at letting blocks form in front of him. So he's not. We love Tank, right? But he has not arrived.
Right.
He's still got plenty that he can work on. It's this whole team has a lot they can work on.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. It's nice to be able to look at a dominant win, be happy about what we saw, but still acknowledge that we have things that we need to work on.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I felt like this. Like, it was a good win. The score looks good. It looked good. And then you can still say, but they've got some stuff they need to clean up.
Yeah. For sure.
It all looks coachable though.
Indeed.
I think that's the difference. Everything that we need to clean up looks like things that they can coach out of them by next week. So the talent is there. This offensive line, in terms of pass protection, I'm warning everybody, they are what they are. And it is what it is. These guys are only going to be able to do. I don't think we're going to get any significantly better at pass protection. I think the scheme has to make up for what we lack.
I'm just curious to see. I think the key for next week to me, Mike G, is what happens before the ball is snapped. Being able to read the defense and determine where the pressure is coming from. Because make no mistake, Penn State is going to be blitzing early and often to try to disrupt the timing of our offense, to confuse. We saw ASU try to do it early on with some of their little odd, weird fronts they had. I think Penn State will try to disrupt the offense. And I'm just curious to see what adjustments that Bo makes, the O-line makes pre-snap in order to set us up and put us in a position to be able to attack the defense. That's going to be huge, especially on the road, raucous environment. I expect them to be able to make the better adjustments, but before the ball is snapped, I think that's going to go a long way towards determining what we're able to do in terms of the O-line and pass pro, making the calls before the ball is even snapped.
Right. Hey, listen, we're approaching the 1 hour mark here. Just want to remind everybody, join the conversation, become an insider. Our game day experience, we keep the trolls out by limiting the comments to insiders. Now, if a troll wants to pay $5.99 to troll, there's not much I can do about that. But for the most part, this is post game is for you guys. We want to be able to talk with you. We want you guys to be able to talk with each other and have a good time and just talk about what's going on with Auburn football after the game. So this is kind of like our post game tailgate where we get together with you guys. Hit our GoFundMe if you can. Lots of super chats came in. We really appreciate the super chats. Keep those coming. If you want to take an extra step to save a puppy in lieu of a super chat, you can go to the About section of our YouTube channel and donate to our GoFundMe. 50 cents on every dollar goes to help save puppies. Also, in the About section, you'll find a link to our merch store. And guys, it's time. I'm going to do this. Hashtag shutout, unless you missed it. Hashtag shutout. I promise some free gear. And I'm going to be a man of my word, and we're going to give some stuff away because Auburn got a shutout since the first time since, was it 2019? 2018, I think?
19, I think.
I think it was 19.
19.
Last time we got a shutout, right?
Yep.
So hashtag shutout in the comments to get in this. If you're lagging behind, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time. I see Cleveland Brown upgraded his membership. Shout out to you, Cleveland. Figured out he wanted to be an insider and not just a supporter. I got 60 of you guys in here, so I'm going to pull this first one, and now I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and we'll come back. because we're going to be here with you guys for a little bit. So this first one is going to
came full circle, man. You paid for a t-shirt. You got a deal.
Oh man, Cleveland proud. Listen, I'm gonna leave this up. This thing is gonna continue to put people in there. Yeah, he did come full circle, right? Became a supporter and then an insider, and then won a t-shirt. So
free shirt. Look at that.
Yeah, Caesar, if you could pull it up. Business at the War Rapport. That's business at the War Rapport. Email us your address so we can get that t-shirt out to you and your t-shirt size. So email us, tell us what your t-shirt size is, and we will get that out to you immediately. We got Mason Bartleson in here with another super chat. We appreciate that. Mason says, #shutout. Yes, it was a great day for a shutout. They were available. They were in stock. Shutouts were in stock for this Saturday. So this is a good day. I think this is a good day for Harsin. I think Harsin is going to we love you too, Cleveland. We love you too, man. This is a good day for Harsin. I think that for a coach who kind of prides himself on process and discipline. Yeah. And I gotta say, I tweeted this out after the game, but I gotta tell you guys, the result of what we saw, I think, is it comes from a really, really good offseason strength and conditioning program. Our guys look dominant. Yeah. Our lines look more dominant. Under Pittman's program, and how he's reinforcing that with, instilling that discipline in the weight room clearly translated to Saturdays. But he effectively forged a new mindset for this team. Yeah. I think it's amazing. Mm-hmm. I think it's amazing what he's been able to accomplish in just one offseason, because what we were doing prior was something very different. It required different physical attributes to run that system. So to be able to transform these guys in the weight room in one offseason is an incredible accomplishment.
Indeed.
I mean, they're just dominating the guys in front of them. This is crazy.
And it helps that we have so many senior players, juniors and seniors, guys who have been here, who have had those bumps, who have gone against SEC competition. And you can ask a little more of those guys to hit these peaks with their bodies, because they've been in SEC strength and conditioning programs, even if it wasn't the greatest one. Listen, you're lining up against guys who are going first to second round of the NFL draft. So you know what it feels like. And you know now how to push yourself and get to that next level. And I'm glad it's really been a benefit. The offensive line is a lot of seniors there. We've got Zacoby's been here 4 years. Papo's been here 3. We got defensive linemen that have been here 3 and 4 years. So we've got a lot of guys whose bodies were ready to go to take that next step. And they have, man. We're looking the part.
Yeah. It has been an amazing ride, I think, so far through these first 2 weeks. If you're Alan Green, at least for the time being, you feel vindicated.
Oh, yeah.
You were down his back about this hire. 2 weeks in, there's not a lot anybody can say to you about this hire. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine what these first 2 weeks have done for recruiting.
Right.
Recruiting is about to get a whole lot easier for Brian Harsin over the next couple months. So this is how you come in and, similar to when Gus took over, he wasn't taking over a team where the talent cupboards were bare.
Right.
So with any level of competency and competent coaches around you, I expected him to find some success in year one. I expected it to look like 8-4 when we started. And then the more I looked at it, I was like, you know what? Without sounding too much like a homer, 10-2 might not be out of reach.
Right.
Might not be out of reach. Brian was on the 9-3 train. I'm still on the 10-2 train.
Still on it?
I'm still on the 10-2 train. I still think, our next 4 opponents look beatable.
Nobody on our schedule looks unbeatable yet. We haven't seen everybody play the best competition. So we don't know. We can't say it for certain. But so far, we are shaping up to be better than we would have imagined based on what we do in January.
Correct.
And every month since then, we've gotten a little more confident in what we might be able to do over the course of the season.
Right. So, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, like this could turn into something really, really good. Yeah, this could be something really, really good. In 4 weeks, what are we saying about Auburn?
Right.
In 4 weeks, we could be a top 15 team easily with a win against Penn State on the road, our first win in LSU in 20 years.
Oh, would that be something? Man.
Right. And then Georgia, whatever they're going to be when they come to Jordan-Hare, that could be a top 10 matchup by the time Georgia rolls around, depending on what happens in front of us.
Right.
So, this will be really exciting. This is going to be really exciting here. So, Big Blue says the Penn State kicker just made a 45-yarder down the middle. Would have been good from 50. I hate to say it, but I think kickers are going to matter in that game.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah.
Right. So I hope that Carlson brings his A game because kickers are going to matter in that game. James Barnett says that the Iron Bowl is shaping up to be the game of the year. I mean, if we're going to win 10 games, I would say so. I would say that's going to be a game that matters in terms of the national landscape there. So, what happens if, we roll into that game for some reason, this is crazy talk, but undefeated, and we lose to them, but then they go on and win the SEC title. Are we now in that Georgia-Bama thing where they snuck in at 4?
We've got to be, because we would have beaten Georgia, and we would have been beaten Penn State on the road, and we would have beaten A&M on the road, all people who were favored very highly preseason. Mm-hmm. If you get those types of wins, you've got to get in the conversation. You've got to be in the conversation.
And it's also helping. If let's say we beat Georgia, it also helps that Ohio State has already dropped one. It also helps that Clemson has dropped one of Georgia. Right. Like those, it'll be easier to kind of backdoor into the playoffs with the teams that they usually give the benefit of the doubt to already win an L. Now, what they do the rest of the way, it could be some little bias and they still get in, but it helps that they've already dropped one.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Or do we get screwed like Texas A&M got screwed?
They didn't get screwed, Mike.
They did.
They did not get screwed.
They did get screwed. They did get screwed. They did get screwed because you put Notre Dame in, who's right now losing to Toledo at home.
It doesn't matter what they did this year. Last year, Notre Dame was all right. They played a very good game against Clemson.
They look all right in that playoff.
They were. No, it was 1-2-3 field, and then the rest. Number 4, which is what A&M would have been. It didn't matter who 4 was. Alabama was going to beat them. Do you agree or disagree with that?
It mattered.
No. We ain't doing that. 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 We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Let that team get in the playoff. It don't matter who was going to win.
Is my head shining? Is my head shining?
You ain't had to do that. It shines regardless. Sit back. So what I'm saying is put A&M in there. I don't care. They gave Bama a better game than Notre Dame did.
Ole Miss gave Bama a better game than everybody. Should Ole Miss have been in there?
No, that's not our point. Well, my point is
that is what everybody is basing A&M's deservedness off of, and that's my point.
No,
I think they beat a bunch of mediocre and bad teams.
But I was yelling that the A&M got screwed before Notre Dame even played.
Yeah,
like we had just the next day, after less than 24 hours after they got ran off the field by Clemson, a team they barely beat when their best QB was out with COVID. They barely beat them at home and then come on a neutral site and get ran off the field. How are they the number 4 team?
Yeah. I just think you one loss in the SEC West and an all SEC schedule is more impressive than most feats in college football. That's my point. They still play in our division and they won every game but one. So there's a strong argument. I don't want to be in that sort of situation at the end of the season. We've got a long way to go before we get to that. But I'll tell you what, we had a few more people jump in here. Hashtag shutout in the comments. I'm going to draw again. Hashtag shutout in case you missed it. Clemson Cleveland Brown won the first one. We're giving away 2 more T-shirts here. If you haven't got in, giving you a few more seconds to jump into this. We got 75
You
people
can't
here.
win again.
You
We've
can't
had
win
someone
again.
win twice.
Yeah, Nino Brown.
All right.
Nino.
Y'all go ahead and y'all finish up. I am bowing out. Good game. We'll see
Bid
y'all on
you
Sunday.
adieu. We will see you tomorrow, B.
It was Notre Dame. It should have been Notre Dame.
Anonymous X. Anonymous. Hey, listen. Business at the War Rapport. That's business at the War Rapport. Please, sir, email us your address and your shirt size, and we're going to give you a T-shirt in honor of the shutout.
Yeah, boy.
But you got to be here in the comments, man. And you got to be here. The rules are the same. You have to be here to claim it.
Yeah, so we want to hear. Yeah, he's at Woot. Congratulate you. Hey, again, you saw it earlier. I'll put it up here again. Email business at the War Rapport to claim your prize. Please do that.
Cleveland Brown, I see your email. Thank you very much for getting that over. Sometimes people forget and then say, "Where's my T-shirt?" You didn't email us. I want to take this time too to say, help us help you. You guys have been following us. You know we love to give stuff away. You know why I don't love chasing down your contact information. Please go to the About section of our YouTube channel and sign up for our email list. I promise you, we rarely send emails out, blast emails out. We will not spam you. The War Rapport is not going to fill up your inbox with a bunch of junk, but it helps us find you. So there's a section for your name, your YouTube handle, and your email address. You guys only go by all I can see is YouTube handles here. So I have no idea how to reach you. You can't send DMs on YouTube. So go there and sign up for our email list. Now, if you're an insider, we likely have your information. Those of you who buy from our merch store, we have some information on you guys, but become an insider and have some fun with us here on a Saturday and on a Sunday and on a Monday when we're going through the film. Just trying to get things going. So become an insider. You definitely want to be a part of this. Caesar, Felix says, I'm sorry, Mike G. Yes, you, Felix. Email me back. So Caesar, I want to go back to Bo for a second. Right. And people in the comments chime in because I want to hear the community's thoughts on this.
Yeah.
What was his? Let me pull up his stat line for the day. I want to talk about this. I mean, he 20 for 22 last week, and this week 9 for 17 for 108 yards. What do we make of this today? Some of this, I mean, like I said, when Auburn Dad made a good point, is just in completion percentage would have been around 70. Fair point, right?
Yeah.
Was this more old Bo, or was this just an aberration?
I don't want to say it was old Bo, because Bo still did some things that I liked. Right. I still thought for the most part he made some good decisions. It's just that, again, we're talking about a Bo Nix who probably would have had a 13 or 12 for 17 completion stats. So I just think that those drops were huge for him, and I think that there are some things that need to be cleaned up in his play. Mm-hmm. And we mentioned it earlier. I feel that sometimes he has a tendency to stare down a receiver that he's going to. And I think that's one of the things that I want to see him clean up, because he did that. And again, throwing in tight windows. Like, he was a little inaccurate in the short passing game early on to start Akron, which was a little concerning, but he got into a rhythm, settled down, and started making some throws. So I think when you start talking about some of the old Bo, the point you made about him rolling out and then trying to make a hero ball, trying to flick the ball over. Like, again, I don't want to see that either, because on that play, the best decision would have been to run and pick up those yards to get a first down and extend the drive. That was the best play, because there was no one spying you, no one in coverage or in zone watching you. You could have taken off a first down. So those are some things that I do want him to clean up when the play breaks down, knowing when to throw the ball or looking downfield. I'm happy he's looking downfield, but there are some times where you do The guy's just not open. Pick up the yards. So I think there's some things in film I want to see this week that the coaching staff kind of begins to drill into his head that, hey, it's okay to take what the defense gives you. And sometimes that's just a run. Sometimes you don't have to make some impressive, cute throw off 1 foot, side-armed to the right? Usually those are low percentage throws and they never work out. So when you talk about some of the old things, yeah, there's some old things because Bo is still getting better for the most part, right? He hasn't arrived. So there are going to be some things that we see from years past that he does that may be annoying, that will show up at an ugly time. But for the most part, we are seeing a better Bo.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We are seeing a better Bo. But there are some things here. B. Parham says, love Bo, but I'm not sold on him until we win a big game on the road. I think this is a fair comment.
Well, that's been the indictment against Bo, is that he plays better at home, right? So, we definitely – I'm with you. I want to see Penn State, LSU. I want to see how he plays in those environments.
Yeah, if he doesn't hold on to this job this year, it'll be because of his play on the road.
Agreed.
Flat out. Right. If he can just have an average showing at Penn State, and when I say average, I mean like 15, 16 for 24 or something with some big throws, that suffice for me, and no turnovers. Right.
Yeah.
If you're going to turn the ball over, then you need to complete a higher percentage of your passes. But, at the end of the day, I just think he needs to be around 65, 66% on the game.
Yeah.
And then make the big plays be part of the 66% that you make. Don't make the touchdown home run throws the percentage that you miss, the 34% that you miss, right? So it's going to be interesting. Philip Cameron says he did stare down the almost pick throw. Yes,
sure.
He did.
For
100%.
For sure.
Right? So that could have been it would not have put the game in doubt, but one of the biggest reasons we're able to push a shutout is because we don't turn the ball over.
Right.
That's it, man. You hold on to the ball. You don't lose the field position battle because you're turning the ball over on your side of the field. That would have been a pick on our side of the field. It wouldn't have been good. What should the coaches be doing? Making him more poised and less of a rhythm passer. So this kind of goes into the whole thing about his remodeling process. How much my skepticism about Bo was about how much I felt like they could fix in one offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think these coaches want to win now. So if he doesn't make big enough jumps, he could lose this job because there's a good enough team around him to win now.
Yeah.
So you bring in Finley and you start setting it up so that if he doesn't make that jump, you have somebody to turn to save your season. Because if you are if you have a one-dimensional offense in our league, you're not going to win a whole lot of games.
Right.
There are some exceptions out there. Florida had a one-dimensional offense last year, but that one dimension was exceptional. Right? Trask was accurate. He made big throws. He was good under pressure, and they didn't have a run game, so he had to be.
Mm-hmm.
That has not really worked out for Auburn.
Right.
It just hasn't, right? So, Nick Marshall and Jarrett Stidham and those guys were really good at making the big plays when they needed to, even with average completion percentages. So I think that the reformation project that is Bo Nix has got to be, it's just got to be one of those things where he's just got to take a little step every week. He doesn't have to fix himself all in one offseason. Everybody keeps saying Bo's going to win the Heisman. I'm not putting that on him. I don't think that we need that from him to be good.
Right.
I think we're showing you every week there's a good enough team around him for him to just use his exceptional athleticism here and there, make the big throws. He can have average numbers, and we can win a lot of games. Just don't make mistakes.
Take care of the football.
Cleveland Brown, you guys made my day. Felt like a winner just being an insider. T-shirt bonus. Yes, we love giving things away. Thank you for being a part of our community.
To the previous point, what can the coaches be doing? A lot of that is we saw it in the Akron game. Bobo came up with some short passes, some outside passes, and Bo got into a rhythm, right? And so I think the key is to give Bo 2 to 3 easy passes, whether it's a screen, whether it's a running back screen. Let him see the ball go upfield once he releases it in a short, easy, makeable throw, and then get him going and get the confidence going. But when he gets 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3, I don't want to see him feel like he has to press and try to make something out of nothing, right? And being able to run the football will help him as well, because as Harsin mentioned last week, that opens up play action for him to be able to make some more makeable throws as well. So there's a few things that you can do if you're Harsin and Bobo to kind of settle him down, regardless of what the defense is doing, and get him to where he's in game mode. He's poised. He's comfortable. He feels the game. He's in a rhythm. So those are things that I think that they can do. It gets tougher when you're going against tougher opponents and on the road. So I'd be curious to see how that first drive goes for us as it pertains to Bo's mental.
Peyton Murphy says, I always feel like if 1 or 2 things go wrong for him, then you can go ahead and write off the rest of the quarter. There's accuracy.
That's what
there's some truth to that, right?
That's what I'm saying. You got to give him some easy, makeable throws so he settles down.
Yeah. Buddy Williams says we'll need to revisit the same topic after the Penn State game. Absolutely.
We will.
Yeah, no, we will. We're just prepping you for it now. And Chris K says, does he still stay in the pocket and not panic on the road? Again, road play, right? It's easy in your own house. This was an average performance in his own house. Penn State, guys, is going to be raucous.
Yeah.
I challenge you to go Google or YouTube the video of Penn State, Michigan. When Michigan came to Penn State, it was so loud they could not even get the first play from scrimmage off, which is usually scripted.
Right.
They're going to be turned up for this game. Their crowd is a factor. They made it their whiteout game too. So Anthony Grant says, honestly, the season starts next weekend, right? We'll know who Bo will be this season for sure after next weekend. I don't know for sure, but I know we'll find out a lot about
We'll learn a lot more about this offense and who's the guy.
Right. Felix wants to see a good Bo Nix on the road, not a perfect Bo Nix, just strong Bo. Yes, again, that's all I'm asking for. I just want to see a good Bo Nix. Not perfection cannot be the standard for anybody.
Yeah.
Right. He just needs to make the easy things easy. Auburn Dad says, I believe this was a good game. This game was a good thing for Bo, because Auburn shows them more of what they need to work on before Penn State. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think that first half may have been the best thing that could have happened to this team, because now they got to see something different.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Someone took away what they was able to do easily with Akron, and they adjusted. Now we got to work on the mental part of the game.
Right. Tony Baker, you got to admit, it looks a lot better when the receivers catch the damn ball if it's in your hands. Agreed. Those drops are very frustrating.
Yeah.
Kalen Newton. Now, mind you, there's not a lot of experience in that wide receiver room.
And Robertson dropped a pass too.
He did.
Robertson dropped a pass. As good of a game as he had, he did drop a pass.
Yeah. So you gotta catch the ball when it comes to you. I was happy to see Malcolm Johnson made a play when he got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There are going to be limited opportunities here for some of these players to make an impact. If you want the coaches to trust you, you got to do your part. Right. Tony comes back and says part of his rhythm is moving. He's mostly being asked to stand still on other than 4 or 5 plays in 2 games. Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, he has moved, but he has not been good on the move, throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Rolling out to his right, throwing the ball is not been generally yielded great results. So I think they're trying to get him to do something different. This offense requires it, and it's hard to go through your reads when you're constantly running. Right. Bobo needs him to stand there and go through reads and progressions. He needs to manipulate the pocket, stay in the pocket, and then and use his athleticism when necessary. So, his rhythm, the rhythm thing, again, Penn State's going to put it to the test.
For sure.
Penn State is going to put it to the test defensively. So that will by far be the toughest defense we've seen yet. I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles that. Shout out to Roberto. Auburn finally seems to have a coach that can make halftime adjustments. Bo Nix also seems to improve this week on his passing placement. He had some good placement on his balls. On a couple of balls.
Sure.
I'm not
the one to Robertson was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a great throw, right? Great little fade to the end zone kind of thing.
Yeah.
I liked that throw from him. It's good to see him throw some balls with touch. So that's great. And I just think. Go ahead, Caesar. Go ahead.
No, you can finish this.
Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, add in the passes that got dropped, and we're having a different conversation.
We are.
Certainly.
We are.
Right. But it doesn't make the almost pick any less concerning.
For sure.
Right. It doesn't make it any less concerning. So, I'm looking for Bo to continue to grow. You can come off this wasn't a disaster game for him, but it didn't exactly inspire confidence either. Right.
I'm just hoping that I'm pretty sure they're going to be very intentional going on the road with what we saw. And they're going over a lot of what happened in the first half with Bo, staring down a receiver, those types of things, trying to force feed it to Shed if he's not open, or those are things that they're going to work on, because I'm not sure if that's just an incompletion next week.
Right. Facts. Peyton Murphy says, I loved watching Finley stand in the pocket and take a hit and deliver the pass on time and on target.
That's what he does.
That's what he does. Like, Finley has talent, and he doesn't have a choice because he can't run like Bo.
Right.
He can't. He's not going to outrun anybody. So he has to find a way to deliver the football under whatever conditions are presented to him.
Mm-hmm.
So if the O-line is going to be porous, he's got to go through identify his read quickly and get rid of the ball. Remember this, if you learn anything about time to throw, anything under 2.5 seconds is usually not going to allow the defense time to get to you. Right. It's just not. All the good quarterbacks in our league throw the ball in under 2.5 seconds under perfect conditions even. So not just because they're being rushed, but because they can identify where the ball's supposed to be and then get it there. So, his time to throw has to come down, especially on the road against Penn State. Man, that's how you keep them off balance, and then you can stay in rhythm.
Agreed.
Ed Darby says, we also have not seen the QB boots and half rolls yet. Give Bo some time. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like this
most of the times he's been rolling right is because the play is breaking down, but there are going to be some design plays that take advantage of him doing that. So I'm eager to see how he does those for sure.
Yeah, certainly. So we're almost at the end here. I got one more t-shirt to give away. So we're going to roll this one more time. 84 people, #shutout. Auburn got the shutout. If you watch the War Rapport, you know how I feel about shutouts and how many we're going to have this season. So they delivered the first one. I'm looking for 4 more. I think Georgia. I think there's a good chance we could shut out Georgia State. And
4 more.
We need 4 more shutouts. We need 4 more shutouts.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So
you may shut out South Carolina on the road. I think you called that was one of them, right?
Yeah, that was one of them, right?
Okay.
Right. So we'll see. Gonna go ahead and roll this here. Who's gonna be our last winner of the day? 3 t-shirts in honor of the shutout. I should have made a t-shirt that says shutout and send that out to everybody. Oh, WC
Leonard. Congratulations, man.
Hey, listen, you gotta comment. You got to comment, or
let us know you're here
again. Yeah, I will roll it again. So if you guys see WC, tell them to holler at us, or we're going to roll this again. So in closing, right, like, what are we looking for next week? Like, what do you want to see next week from Auburn on the road?
I definitely want to see. I think one of the things that they're going to try to do is a lot of short passes if you're Penn State to get their QB going. I don't want to see a lot of soft coverages. And I know that Mason wants to keep everything in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's to our detriment if we allow Penn State to dink and dunk on us. And so I want to be able to see our defense take away the short stuff,
Right,
and then put them in third and long situations where we can really pin our ears back along the D line and bring some pressure. Because I think our D line is actually one of the more underrated groups on our team, and they're proving it week after week. I want to see that on defense. On offense, I mean, I just want to see us. I think the key to beating Penn State will be us running the ball effectively. And I want to see us, even with guys in the box, I want to see how well we run the ball, because that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Bo Nix if we're able to run the ball effectively. So
right.
I would say that. Those are things I want to see next week against Penn State.
Hey, listen, WC, I see you. Business at the War Rapport. Business at the War Rapport. Email us your address and your T-shirt size so we can go ahead and get that T-shirt out to you.
Congratulations again, man.
So for me, I want to see 28 points on offense next week. 28 points on offense on the road against a good team.
Okay.
I think gives us a chance to win the game. Now, defensively, I already said what I'm looking for defensively. I'm looking for a shutout. Get in there. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but based on what we saw them do offensively versus Wisconsin, I don't even think that's unreasonable. If not a shutout under 10 points.
Yeah.
Get in there, take their will from them in their own house. Let's show some killer instinct for a change.
Yeah.
Right? We need to be on the other side of that killer instinct. So, that's what I'm looking for.
Mike, listen, we play Akron and Alabama State.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have scored 122 points in this season so far. I don't care who you play. That is not an easy feat.
No, it's not.
So I believe that this offense is capable of doing that. Again, our mental focus, and I think there's something to be said about your mental preparation going into Penn State versus Alabama State, right? Obviously, you're going to be more focused because you know what's at stake. You understand the situation. But I want to make sure that we're able to overcome jitters. The crowd, I want us to be able to communicate effectively, get the plays in quickly. I want to see those guys understand what they're doing and be able to execute at a high level, despite being that those are marks of what is a classic or a really good team, a championship team, that you're able to focus regardless of the situation, whether you're on the road, whether you get hit in the mouth, even if we make some mistakes. I want to see that offense come back out there on the field and drive down the field, and Bo forgets that, hey, maybe we went 3 and out this last drive. Maybe I may have thrown a pick. Even if I do throw an interception, how do I come back and respond? What was so frustrating at times is when we would get an interception on a quarterback in previous years, the quarterback, either be for Florida or whoever, would come back and then lead the team down the field for a drive.
Right.
I want to see Bo do something like that, because he's going to throw a pick eventually.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
But how does he come back out the next drive? Does he act as though it never happened, or does it linger in his head? Right.
Well, that's to the comment earlier about how, once he makes a mistake, write him off for the rest of the quarter.
Yeah.
That's the mental leap that he has to take to make, to take strides as a quarterback. Yeah. Right. You got to be able, you got to have a short memory when you are a quarterback when it comes to mistakes, and you got to go out there and you have to throw with confidence, and you can't get rattled.
Yeah.
This is the SEC, man. It's big boy football. They're going to come after you. They're definitely going to come after you. So I just feel like 28, if we can score 28 points offensively, that is enough production to not wear out our defense in this game. Although I do feel we're deep. I saw Papo and McLean and Steiner flying around there.
Yeah.
flying around the field making plays. Defensive back, we've got playmakers.
Chandler Wooten was out there. I saw him a few
Man.
times. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. On D line, we seem to be playing solid football. If they continue this up, if we can force Penn State to be as one-dimensional as we've forced our first two opponents, I like our chances. Defense.
Same here.
We've allowed less than 50 yards total rushing on the season. I think we did a Faxer now about less than 250 yards on average for the secondary. I think they're accomplishing that so far.
Yeah.
One-dimensional offenses are going to have a really hard time against Derek Mason. So take away something that they do. That's what I'm looking for. Defensively, I'm looking for us to absolutely take away something that they do and force them to do one thing and then take their will from them after that. So, we did. I saw there was a comment about pick sixes. Yes, I do. I expect to see them this year, especially if we're getting a pass rush.
What's so interesting is I'm looking at what they're doing. They're running. They're pretty balanced between Ball State. They've run it 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
They're averaging a little over 4 yards a carry.
Okay.
Ball
State is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's not great against Ball State. That's not really great, but they've thrown it 21 times. So there's a balance there. I think if you take one of those things away,
it gets hard for them.
It's going to get tough.
Yeah. If we can take away their ground game, it gets pretty tough. And put the game on Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about them trying to put the game on Bo, but listen, I've seen if you can get pressure on this quarterback, and you can take something away from him, he's not that great.
Right.
He's not a world beater. So, we just need to be better. We cannot be worse than their worst. And we need to be better than their best.
Yeah.
And I think that gives us a chance. Well, listen, guys, we appreciate you joining us for the official War Rapport post-game show. As always, we want you guys to be a part of the community. This is insider only. Now we're letting people view. Eventually, it'll be insider only everything, just so everybody's aware. But you're allowed to join us now. Become an insider. $5.99 a month. That's it. That's all we're asking for. We give you guys a lot for $5.99. Giveaways, season tickets. Information, entertainment, community, all $5.99 is all it takes to be a part of this community. Hit the if you didn't get a question answered, hit the comments after, man. People will tell you, we chop it up with you guys in the comments after every video. We get in there and mix it up as far as conversation is concerned. Visit our GoFundMe. This is the About section of our YouTube channel. You can donate here. We appreciate all the super chats that we got today. 50 cents on every dollar that goes to this GoFundMe helps save a puppy's life. And that's the good that we've chosen to put back into the world. We appreciate everybody who's taking time and going the extra step to do that. Visit our merch store. That link is in the same About section of our YouTube channel. We definitely appreciate all the super chats and everything that you guys have done. But you can support us by going to our merch store as well, too. So that's it, man. Caesar, you got anything in closing?
Congratulations to all of you who won a free t-shirt, and congratulations to Auburn for getting that shutout.
Shut out. Well,
that's all I got, man.
We're about to shut out this stream. So listen, I'm Mike G. On behalf of Ike and B Will, C-Dub here. War Rapport out.